Hi folks, I'm outside and as you can see, I'll let you have a look round, it is absolutely snowing here. Barney's running about like a lunatic. Look at you, Barney. Yeah, look. And Duchess. Don't know where Duke is. Shut up. He's going mad. But there's no chance of me working out here today, I can tell you that now. But let's have a look in the log cabin. Oh, it's very thick here. There's all the lawnmowers, as you can see. Look, I was supposed to have put them away, but I've left them all out, so they're all covered with snow, and I can't do nothing about that at the moment, unfortunately. And go in the log cabin. Again, nothing's happened in here. Turn the light on. Still as it was, as you can see, nothing's really happened in here. I've not done much in there at all. Well, I've not done anything in there. So what I've done, I've got this little portable generator. Let's get back outside. I've got this little portable generator which I've had for years and years, and I was going to work on it out there, but I don't think I'm going to. And I've had it about 12, well no, probably longer than that, about 14 years. It's a little Honda generator. It's only a little 500 watt generator, but it's one of those quiet ones. And years and years ago, my father put water in instead of petrol, and I remember flushing it out years ago, but it never really run properly after that, so I'm going to have a go at fixing it up. I'll just show you that now on the other camera. Well, here it is. It's a little Honda EX650 generator, and it's literally stood for, as well, 14 years I suppose. So I've not even tried to pull it over. I don't know what it's going to do, so I'm not going to try and start it, obviously, because I don't know what the problem is with it, if any. But let me just put this camera on the tripod, and I'll see if it's seized up at all. Right, so I can't remember how to work it. You just have to put it on the choke, if I remember rightly, but I'm not going to turn it over to start it. I just want to see if it's seized up. Well, it's not. It's not seized up, which is a good sign. So all I'll basically do is I'll strip it down, strip the casing down, and I don't know whether it had any stale fuel in there or anything, I'm not too sure, so let's have a quick look. There's got a filter in there. Oh, it stinks. Now the fuel tank's dry on it, but it does smell horrible, so I'm going to obviously have to take the carb off, take all the casings off it. I presume it's got oil in here. Yeah, it's got an oil level in there, so I'll have to drain the oil out of it and obviously refill the oil. And I remember when it was running, it was a lovely little generator actually, but as I say, it's not a very big one, so you can't really run 2 to 3 kilowatt things off of it. It was ideal for using a drill outside, if I remember right. I used to use it for using around an old garage I used to have years ago. I used to use it for using the electric drills and also lighting the garage. I rigged the lights set up for that. So anyway, I'm going to start stripping it down now, and let's see what we got. Right, first of all, I've got to spin it round. This is what you call a suitcase generator, for obvious reasons. And there's 2 clips on the side there like that, which you just undo. And pull this cover off. Well, that should come off now. Don't forget, this has not been off for years, so it's probably a little bit stiff. Give it a bit of persuasion. There we go. I don't know what we're going to find in there. Let's get that out of the way. And down here is the governor arm, full of cobwebs in there, absolute full of cobwebs. Well, that governor arm's free and working in the right correct position anyway. It should be apparently over to the left, and that's the running position, then it goes over to the right there. So now what I've got to do now is to actually remove this side case. I've got to get to the carburetor obviously and clean the carb out, so I think to do that you've got a couple of screws either side which I've got to undo, so they look like 10mm, so I'll have to undo them now. So let's just undo these. they've not been done for years. As I say, it'd be handy to have again. You never know what with this weather that we've been forecast with. We never know what's going to blinking happen. So, and we do tend to get a lot of power cuts around here. Just go around to the other side and do one on the other side. By having at least some sort of power, I mean, we might need some sort of communication with the telly or whatever, or the broadband up or whatever. So, you know, by being able to run small power, especially as I have it here anyway, it's probably a handy thing to have, so might as well make use of it. Just undo these two. Right, there's them two there. There's also a Phillips screw on the top there, which I'll undo. It's tight. Oh, that is tight. That's broke the end of the screwdriver. Believe it or not. You wouldn't blink and believe that. Look, let's try and get the end of that. The end of the actual screwdriver has chewed right off and is actually sitting in there. Now, I've got a situation now where I've got to get that off. Now, the only way I can think of doing that, realistically, I can't get no bits out of there, as I say, because the actual screwdriver's stuck in there. A bit of the screwdriver's actually stuck in there, I can't get that out. So what I'm going to have to do is to actually grind them heads off, and hopefully afterwards free off them studs coming out. So I'm going to have to get my Dremel tool. I'll be back in a second. Well, as you can see, there's the actual screw which screws into the fuel tank. Now what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and put a slit in it so that I might be able to get a bigger screwdriver on it. And obviously before I try to undo it again, I'll try and use some penetrating fluid on there as well. So I'm going to try with the Dremel and cut a slot in it, just see how we go. I don't know whether I've got the right bit on here, but we'll have to just give it a go anyway. Right, I'll just try that for size. Well, I think we can get a good purchase with a screwdriver on there now, so what I'll try and do is just squirt it with a bit of WD-40 and hopefully we can free it off. So give that a second just to soak in. And what I will do is just to try and disturb the threads, I'll just give it a couple of little light taps. And hopefully that might help it penetrate. So let me just try and put a little bit of tension on it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a bigger headed screwdriver blade, so that I can actually get a complete purchase over the whole lot. I mean, this is typical of working on stuff which is very old and it's been out for a long time. Let me try and put a bit of pressure on it. No, it's not having it. Although the WD seems to have soaked in. Let's put some more in there. I don't really want to use heat on it because, as I say, it's a fuel tank and it's a plastic casing, so there's no chance of me being able to do that. I suppose I could try and use some, well, if I try and knock it sideways, I haven't got an impact driver, you see, so I could try and knock it at an angle and maybe that would jar it free. Let's see what we've done there. There we go. We've done it. We're free. So that has actually saved that thread. How about that? Just a little bit of persuasion, a few different techniques, and out she pops. Well, I've probably got to do the same now to this one here. So I can first of all load that up with WD. Let's get that fuel cap off. Get the fuel filter out of there as well, which obviously it's clean. It's not dirty, but oh, it stinks. Absolutely stinks. Foul fuel. Now again, I don't know. I'll have a bit of trouble getting the Dremel into there, so I will try and undo it first. I'll just give it a few taps down on top, as opposed to knocking it around. That might free some stuff off. So if I just put that on there, give it a few whacks down with that, just enough to loosen the thread off, hopefully. And then try and undo it. Nope. Somehow I'm going to have to try and put a slot in that one and all. So that's what I've got to do. Let's get my safety goggles back on and try again with a Dremel. Does that come off? That's a bit better. We'll try again with the Dremel and get a slot on there. Right, I've just put a slot in there. Give it a bit more of a squirt again. And let's see if we can tap this one around as well, using the same technique. I think that went. Let's just put that on there like that. I think that went. Yes, it did. There we go. So that's them two casing screws out. Brilliant. That could have caused us a few problems if we wouldn't have used that technique. Could have had chewed up screws and everything. Right, so that's them two. We've also got a couple of connectors here, electrical connectors, which you've just got to pull out. Unbelievable, everything's stuck and seized. But you do get that with old things. There we go, that's them two out. And we've also got to disconnect the fuel feed pipe. So that's just a little clip. Just lift that over there. That's the thing with working on old things, as I say, it's you have to deal with things like seized bolts and stuff like that. There we are, here we go. Here she comes. That's that off. And there's also, through here, you've got the choke cable, which apparently has to come off as well. And to do that, it's got a little spring on it. You pull the little spring towards you and just clip the cable out. So I'm going to try and do that now. Let's try that with a little pliers, actually. Got to hold the lever back at the same time, which is more easier said than done. There we go. That's done. Right, that's out now. So that's that first thing done. So I'm going to have a look now at the next stage of the operation.